And we did it. We are live. Let me know if you can hear me. A lot of people in the chat, so yeah, chime in. Hopefully everything's working all right. This is only my second live stream, but I hope it's going well. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I'm so happy to get back to this. I've only done one other one before, so let's jump into it. This is another live stream, and I'm going to be talking with you guys for probably about an hour, maybe 2 hours, depends on how well this goes. And hopefully I hear from someone in the chat here in a second, so I can make sure it's working. Anybody at all. We've got Code Anime Fan, Kevin House is in the chat, Gus Amaretti is in the chat. We've got Stephen Clark already here. Awesome. So many people are here already. Happy to see you guys. Can you hear me? Is there this long of a lag that you still can't hear me? Hope it's working. It says it's working on my end, so I'm gonna keep moving forward. Hey, they're saying hi. They're saying they can hear me. All right. A little bit of a lag, but we'll work through it. Today I'm going to be opening this package on camera. Left it a little bit vague in the title, partly because I wanted it to be a surprise and partly because I didn't really know how to explain it. But I'll get into that in a second. I've got my microphone up here tonight because I needed some space down here to be using my hands. So let me know how that sounds up there. Hopefully it sounds pretty good. I'll try to stay close to it. And it's kind of nice being out of the way. I might do that more often. All right, so this package, hey guys, Jeffrey Patron is here, awesome to see you. David Chase is here. Wow, so many people. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so glad to see you guys on July 4th weekend. Hope everyone's having a good holiday weekend. I'm wearing my festive July 4th shirt. Thank you guys so much for popping in to see me. Really appreciate it. So this is a package from Katana Collectibles. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of them. They make plastic cases of all different shapes and sizes to fit perfectly around your Blu-rays and DVDs and keep them safe. And I've never bought any of them before from the company, but I did buy one on eBay, which I should have grabbed, but it is the Guillermo del Toro box, and it looks really nice, and I wanted to keep that safe, so I'm glad I was able to find that. I actually bought that on eBay, though. But this one, I went direct with the company, and I got, I think, 6 different ones. So I'm going to open these on camera, and I'm actually going to put them on my Criterions while I talk to you guys so you can see how they look. And I've even got a couple in here that I haven't even announced that I got on the channel, but these are all out of print Criterions that I have. So it's going to be a little bit of a spoiler because I haven't posted videos on these yet, so keep it quiet. Yeah, I'm going to get through all those as we talk, but let me see what people are saying first. Let's see, Rainbow Nightmare. Okay, so we're talking about The Flash. I have not seen The Flash, so I can't say anything about it. But Rainbow Nightmare has seen it. I know Code Anime Fan. Here, let me go back to the top here so we can get everyone's questions in. Code Anime Fan said he saw The Flash on Tuesday, and he really enjoyed it. Kevin House saw Asteroid City last Monday. People were thinking it was pretty quirky after the film. It wasn't. It usually takes me a couple times to warm up to Wes Anderson's films. I remember when I saw French Dispatch, I didn't really like it the first time. Liked it a lot more the second time, and then loved it the third time. And now it's one of my favorite Wes Anderson films. So I do need to give Asteroid City a couple more watches, but I did like it. I gave it, I think, 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. Had a good time. Grace and I saw that last weekend. Kevin House finally watched Bergman's Scenes from a Marriage yesterday for the first time. Liv Ullmann was such a great actress. Yeah, that's Connor's favorite actress of all time. I've got to get to that Bergman set. There's just so much to watch. Let me see. Gus, have you bought a lot of Criterions? I've already bought over $1,000 worth of them just this month. Are you talking about just in this July sale, or are you talking about total? Because that's crazy. I don't know how much I'm going to buy this month. We'll see. We'll see how much my bank account permits me. Because I don't know. I really want that Pasolini set, but it's like $125, so that's like 6 Criterions that I could get. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get that this month. I'd love to get a review out, since it just came out for you guys. So maybe I will get it this month and just limit how many I can get. But yeah, I'm hoping to get quite a few this month. I don't really have a plan. I usually have like a list that I'm working off of, but I don't. Let's see. Hey, Stephen Clark. David Chase, hi. How's it going, man? Jeffrey Patron, always great to see you in here. He says, howdy all. Ethan Edwards, always with the pop culture references. Let me see. No, not the DC Comics character, Katana. We're talking about Katana Collectibles. Thank you for reminding me, because I got to get back to this. Let's go ahead and open this up. I'm sure you guys are familiar with these, for those of you who are collectors, but this is my first real experience with Katana. Let's see if they ship these well. Cut this open. Oh yeah, very, very safe in here. They've got, look at that, cardboarded up and bubble wrapped. So feel free to keep leaving some questions for me, and I will chat with you guys while I do this. Hopefully it's not picking up too much on the mic. But Ethan Edwards says Liv Ullmann is still alive. Oh, Slipmaker's here. Slipmaker. Seen Dial of Destiny yet? And how do the indie films stack up for you as a whole? Great question, and I'm probably going to lose most of the chat when I answer this question. I actually did. Me and my wife watched through all 4 of the Indiana Jones films this week in preparation to watch Dial of Destiny. And I was not a big fan of Dial of Destiny. I think it's pretty divisive. I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought of Dial of Destiny. I was not a fan. Connor was also not a fan, but I do know some people that really liked it. Some reviewers that I was checking out anyway. But yeah, I was not a fan. I was kind of bored pretty much the whole time. I was not into it. But I do enjoy the Indiana Jones films. They're not my favorite films. The first one is my favorite. The third one used to be my favorite, but this last watch through this week, I really liked the Raiders of the Lost Ark the most. So that's my favorite. I'm not a big fan of Temple of Doom. I think it's a really well-made movie, but it's just not what I come to Indiana Jones for. You can read my Letterboxd review about it, but yeah, it's a cool like proto superhero horror comic book type movie. But I want to go to Indiana Jones to see some treasure hunting, man. That's why I like the first one so much, because it's such a throwback to the serials, and I really like the third one, and I also. And the third one's great too, but I actually really like the fourth one. It's not like my favorite, like I said, the first one is, but I like 50s sci-fi B movies, and that's like a big throwback to that, and I don't know, I like the fourth one. Sorry. I know that's going to make people mad, but I quite enjoyed it. The latest really seems, this is from Slipmaker, the latest really seems to be splitting people. I guess I'll have to see for myself whenever it comes to streaming. Yeah, I think it is divisive, but I liked it. I mean, I didn't like it, but I know some people do. So hopefully you do enjoy it, Slipmaker. Let me know when you finally see it. I'm going to go ahead and go. I think I've got caught up on all the questions or the chats, so I'm going to jump into these. So this is what these look like. They look like these little slim plastic cases, and they come flat, and then you have to pop them out, and then you can place your movies inside of them. So I am going to have to, because all the measurements are completely different. And I'm going to have to figure out, I didn't think this through, because I'm going to figure out which numbers they are here. So we've got, 5.5, 7, and 8.75. Okay, so this first one is going to be a spoiler. I wish I would have saved, let me save that one for the end, because I don't want to get to that one yet. So this first one here is 5.5, 6.875, and 1.625. Sorry, this is going to be incredibly boring, but I had to do a lot of math to get the right measurements. So that one is there. Kevin House agrees with me about Temple of Doom, right? I know. I don't have any problem with people who love Temple of Doom. It's just not my thing. I think it's really made really well, and I think the special effects hold up incredibly well, even better than the first one. It looks really good all the way through. There's some some painting out over the miniatures at the end that looks a little silly these days, but other than that, everything holds up great. Slipmaker again, also obviously being a huge theme park nerd, big fan of the Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland, which mostly takes after Temple of Doom. Oh, that's cool. Is that at Disney World too? I've never been to Disneyland, but I've been to Disney World a couple times, and I think I saw the Indiana Jones stunt show. I think it is at Disney World, because I think, or maybe I'm thinking of Universal Studios. Renzo, Kuzia? You're gonna have to teach me how to say your name. Renzo Kuzia. Hi, TJ. What is your favorite Stanley Kubrick film and why? The why is because I haven't seen very many of them, but 2001: A Space Odyssey is by far my favorite Stanley Kubrick film, and I don't know if anything will ever pass it. I love that movie, and what other ones have I seen? I have seen Doctor Strangelove, which I also love. So I think those are the only two big ones I've seen. No, I've seen The Killing. I watched The Killing last year. Connor and I did a discussion video on it because that's one of his favorite movies, and he wanted to get my opinion on it, and I really liked it. Really great classic noir from, I think, the 50s, black and white film. Really enjoyed that one. But yeah, I think 2001 is still my favorite. I haven't dove too far into his filmography. I know the big ones are, Shining and Clockwork Orange, which I'm not immediately drawn to because I'm not a big horror guy. But maybe if you guys can convince me that I'm sure I'll still appreciate them. I just don't know if I'll love them as much as 2001 and Doctor Strangelove, which I really enjoyed. Which Code Anime Fan is talking about there in the chat. Gotcha, Slipmaker. So he says Disney World has a stunt show, but no ride. Okay, that's what I remembered. I remember the stunt show, but I didn't think they had a ride. I've only been to Disney World a couple times, but I've got to go back there with the kids before they get too old. All right, here we go. We're starting with Time Bandits, which doesn't have any, is not worth anything anymore since they just released the 4K with the slipcover. But I do want to keep this one safe. This one's special to me. This was out of print when I got it, and my wife got it for me as a Father's Day gift, which was really sweet of her, and it's still sealed. So I am going to pack this one away. So we've got this flat case, which looks like this, and we have to pop it in to give it its shape. We also have to peel. Maybe this will be satisfying for those of you who like to peel these things. I know my wife is going to be mad that I didn't let her peel these because she loves peeling these things. Let me see. Code Anime Fan, are you looking forward to Barbie? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to see it. I'm not I'm not as excited as Connor, who's like so pumped about it. It's going to be like his favorite. He's anticipating it being his favorite movie like of the decade. I think he's a huge Greta Gerwig fan. He loves Little Women, particularly was one of his favorite movies from that year. But yeah, I'm excited to see it. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that more than Oppenheimer. I know that's kind of blasphemous, maybe, but I don't know, man. We've seen a lot of movies, and every time I go to the theater, I see the Oppenheimer trailer, and I'm just, oh, there it is. So I gotta peel this off. I'm not sold on Oppenheimer. I'm sure it'll be an excellently crafted film, but I don't know. I can't get excited about it. There it is. So we peel this off so it's looking nice and clear when we put the movie in there. Who knows how long I'm going to be streaming, because this is going to take a minute to get these all in here. Look at that. Paths of Glory from Kevin House should be your next Kubrick film. That is probably true. I have heard nothing but great things about that one, and I'm genuinely interested in that one. Because I'm a war film guy. Not like my favorite genre, but I can do a good war film. There we go. So clear you can see straight through it. All right, let's slide Time Bandits in here. There we go. Slipmaker's with me. You guys are being too nice to me in the chat. No one's angry with me yet. But Slipmaker, I'm also slightly leaning Barbie over Oppenheimer. Yeah, man, it just seems new and different and interesting. Like I said, I'm sure Oppenheimer will be great, but I just can't get excited about a movie that I feel like the trailer. I mean, I feel like I know what I'm getting going into it, unless there's some big surprise and the movie doesn't end where you think it ends. I don't know, but yeah, I can't get excited about Oppenheimer. But I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan in general. I haven't really watched one of his movies. I think, gosh, I'm really gonna get in some hot water. I think the last Christopher Nolan movie I watched was Dark Knight Rises, and I was in the camp that wasn't a big fan of Dark Knight Rises, so I think that kind of burnt me out on him for a while. I still love Batman Begins. I still love Inception. some of my favorite films. But I haven't got back into the Christopher Nolan of it all. And I probably should give him another chance. I know, I mean, Insomnia is in the Criterion Collection, so I definitely need to check that one out. But what was his other one that started with an I? That was a space movie. Did it start with an I? I can't remember. I'm so out of the loop on Christopher Nolan. All right. This is a struggle to get this in here. I'm not making this look easy. This is not a good commercial for Katana Collectibles, but not a sponsor, so it doesn't matter if I do a good job or not. So here we go. We've got it in. Now I'm going to slide Time Bandits in there. Oh, look at that. A perfect fit. That is so satisfying. We just pop the tabs down. This will obviously be more necessary for the digipacks when we get to those, because Time Bandit's still sealed, so it's going to be okay. But I just want to make sure to keep it nice and safe on the shelf. And I'm not going to do this. I know some people do these like for all of their steelbooks or all of their slipcovers. I'm not going to be buying that many. I'm not going to go crazy with these. But I thought just for the out of print Criterions that I have that are worth quite a bit, and I have them turned sideways on the shelf, which you guys, if you've watched my shelf tour or some of the other videos with the Criterion Corner in the background, I have some of these turned sideways, including this one, and sometimes, you know, they get knocked around, or you know, heaven forbid, they might fall forward and fall off the shelf. So I wanted to keep them safe, and this also helps them stand up, you know, a little better since they're thick. Look at that, perfect fit. I love that. They did so on their site. They named these per whatever movie they're made for, and they had none of the ones that I needed. So I had to like literally pull out the measuring tape, measure these, and figure out, you know, what was the closest one that they had on their site that would fit the movies that I wanted. So it was quite the feat to get these, but look at that. That looks great. Very solid. I love it. Let me get that question out of the way so you can see it. Look at that. All right, that's one down. That's Time Bandits. 5 more to go. But I'm going to talk to you guys as well. Code Anime Fan. Oppenheimer has a great cast, including my favorite actress, Emily Blunt. But I have a hard time getting excited for the film. Same. I'm having the same thing. I'm sure it's going to be brilliantly directed, brilliantly acted, but I just can't get super excited about that story. I feel like I know too much about it already. He feels similar to me about Christopher Nolan. I think that his films are sharply directed and well cast, but aren't super engaging. I mean, I've been super engaged by his films in the past. I just haven't given him a chance in a while. Robinson Santee, Dark Knight Rises was one of his weakest. Interstellar, that's the one I was trying to think of. And Dunkirk were great follow-ups. Should also watch The Prestige. Have seen The Prestige. I've seen Prestige, his Batman trilogy, and Inception. But yeah, I didn't watch Interstellar, but I'm interested. That is one that I hear mixed things about. I hear some people don't like it, but I know a lot of people think it's amazing and one of his best films. So I am going to check out Interstellar. Oh, John Malahi? John Malahi. That's how you pronounce it. Barry Lyndon. Good to see you, John. I was actually just talking to John right before I hopped on. Me and him are going to go Criterion shopping together. I don't know if I'll bring a camera or not. I haven't asked him about it yet, but maybe we'll get him on the channel. He's a awesome guy. I want him on the channel anyway because he's super knowledgeable about film, and he would be a great guest. He says Barry Lyndon is also on Criterion and worth watching. Okay, one of his favorite Kubricks. Well, I will have to check that out. Yeah, I've heard a lot about that one. That's a really long film, right? I'll have to strap in for that one. I need a lot of historical dramas that are very long. Like I just got The Leopard from Criterion, posted in a recent video, so I'll have to tackle those at some point. But I do want to get caught up on Kubrick because I'm severely lacking in my Kubrick knowledge. I'm gonna peel this off again. This is our next one we have here. Let me see. Kevin House. If you're getting tired of everybody agreeing with you, I strongly disagree with you ranking Frosty Returns over the original Frosty the Snowman. Good. Yeah, man. Frosty the Snowman is overrated. I big fan of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Big fan of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but Frosty, not a big fan of Frosty. It's super flimsy, super super weak. Frosty Returns is great, man. John Goodman as Frosty, and there's actually like a decent story this time with a good villain with a message. I will die on the hill that Frosty Returns is better than the original Frosty. Every time I never use the TV as a babysitter. I always watch whatever my kids are watching with them. It's like that's something I really try to do. But when it comes Christmas time and it's time to watch, we get through the classics and we get to Frosty the Snowman, I will go to another room because it is snooze fest, Kevin. Snooze fest. Frosty the Snowman. I don't know why. I don't know how. That's classic, man. Frosty Returns is super 90s, and it's got that kind of Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon type feel to it with the animation style. But I don't know, man. Every time I watch Frosty the Snowman, I'm like, this is just a bummer. Let me see. Code Anime Fan, you mentioned that you loved Batman Begins and didn't really like oh gosh, now he's gonna throw everyone's throwing my opinions under the bus. Didn't really like The Dark Knight Rises, but what do you think of The Dark Knight? I like The Dark Knight. Dark Knight is interesting. It is not my favorite. I'm not a big crime drama fan, so I much prefer the more heightened character study of Batman Begins to The Dark Knight. I think Batman Begins is my favorite Batman film still, and I really like the Batman as well, even though that is a crime drama, but it's more heightened and more science fiction a little bit. But yeah, and stylistically I like that. I like the look of the Batman better than Dark Knight. But yeah, I respect The Dark Knight. I think it's very well made. That was a movie when I was in my younger years in high school where I was like, man, everyone loves this movie. Why don't I love it as much as everybody else? And I really beat myself up over it. And I remember I watched it 8 times to try to make myself like it. And I just couldn't do it. It's just not my bag, man. I'm not a huge action movie guy. I'm not a big car chase guy. I always zone out during that kind of stuff. But I like obviously a lot of stuff Christopher Nolan's doing in that film. It just doesn't come together for me as a whole. And I know that's gonna make people not like me either. But I do prefer the Batman Begins. Wow, gotta catch up here. Gotta catch up. Jeffrey E. Patron, those cases look groovy. Does anyone here watch much TCM? Thank you, Jeffrey. I'm getting this second one going here off camera. Let me see. TCM. I loved TCM. Back when I had Hulu TV, I used to watch TCM all the time. That's how I got into movies in the first place. I don't know if I've told that story before, but in 2019? Was it 2019? Either 2019, I think it was 2019, I got pneumonia at Christmas time, and I was stuck in bed. And I had only really seen, the Christmas movies I grew up with, and then I watched the classic It's a Wonderful Life, and I loved it. So I took that opportunity when I was bedridden with pneumonia, and everyone was out because it was Christmas time. I was sitting in bed, and I started watching a bunch of classic Christmas movies on Hulu TV, through TCM, and I watched Christmas in Connecticut, and I watched... what else did I watch? A lot of just classic black and white Christmas movies that year. And then I branched out after Christmas ended in January. I watched High Society, which was the first non-Christmas movie I watched. This was when HBO Max dropped. So whatever year that dropped, thankfully HBO Max and got me into this. And then I went into Hulu TV and started watching a lot of things on TCM. And now I find myself mostly watching things I haven't watched yet, or Criterion Channel has a lot of crossover with TCM, so I just wasn't using TCM as much, and Hulu TV is ridiculous. It's like $70 a month, so I dropped it, and I'm very sad because I had so many things saved from Hulu TV, from the TCM channel, and I lost them now that I canceled. I don't have those anymore, and there was a lot of things that aren't streaming anywhere else, so I wish, part of me wishes I could have kept that, but yeah, it was just outrageously expensive. All right. This next one that we've just done is... Oh no, okay, this is going to be a spoiler. But we're going to do it. Actually, let's try this one. Let's try this one. So we're going to do the third man. The third man is going to be our second pick here. Now, you guys have seen this before. I did that crazy video where that crazy thing happened to me, and I got 2 of these in one day. But I did give one to Connor. So Connor has one of them. I don't have 2 anymore. But this should be the perfect size box for this. Hopefully. This is supposed to be 5.5, and this is 5.5. Okay, yeah, so this should be the right. This is 5.5 inches of width. So we're gonna put the third man, keep it safe. I just had it in this like plastic bag protector, which I liked, but it just, and I kept it safe, but it just looked crappy on the shelf. It was like, just in a bag. It didn't fit it correctly, so we're gonna put the third man in one of these Katana collectible cases and display it proudly on the shelf. Because it is one of my most prized possessions, especially because I found it, actually in the wild at a half-price books. I like buying stuff online. I buy a lot of stuff on eBay. Most of my stuff comes from eBay, but it's so much cooler when you can find it in person. So much more exciting than just scrolling through a screen. But when you find something in person, it feels so good. You get that collector's rush. I don't know if you guys get that, but I like it. It's why it's such a bummer that I'm mostly buying stuff online these days. There's not a lot of stores. My Best Buys don't carry physical media anymore. My Targets don't have anything good, and they don't even have 4Ks. And even my Criterion section at my Barnes and Nobles are shrinking drastically. It's very sad. I was talking to John about this earlier. They're all shrinking, and I don't even have an Arrow section anymore. They've completely got rid of the Arrow section, and the Criterion section is just like 2 little shelves, which is a bummer. I'm gonna have to order some Criterion stuff online maybe this time, or hopefully I can talk to my guy at the store and he can order me some stuff in. Ethan Edwards, is Connor coming over to play with fireworks this year? No, I wish he could come, but my wife was just talking about this the other day. She was like, wow, I can't believe it's been a year since Connor almost shot my head off at the firework. I know, it's crazy that July sale was a year ago already, but look at that. Woo. That is clean. No, Connor's not coming to do 4th of July stuff, but I wish he could. Hopefully I can get back. I don't have anyone coming. The last couple years I had, Connor come to do the Criterion sale with me, and then I had my friend Cap come from Kansas to come do Criterion shopping with me in the fall. But like I said, I am going to go hit up a store with John, actually this week probably. And then I think Evan, who I did a sale video with last year, is going to come over again, I think next week sometime, and we're going to hit up a Barnes & Noble together and hopefully pick up some more Criterions. So hopefully that goes well. I'm going to get some videos out for you as soon as I can, because I know a lot of you, those are obviously my best viewed videos. So a lot of people like this in-store adventures. So hopefully I can get those out soon. And then my wife will do a couple trips with me, obviously. She's a big fan of doing those videos. There it is. We've got it sealed. The third man. Gosh, that is nice. I think this case was actually made for the Scanners Digipack, but it works for the third man. There it is. We've got 2. All right, let's keep it moving. I'm going to go back to the chat and catch up a little bit because I'm rambling here. Ethan Edwards, the Leopard is great, has one of the great set pieces ever made. I could tell just by the photos that they used in the Digipack that that's going to be a beautifully just rendered film set-wise and costume design and all kinds of production design. It looks great. Slipmaker of the year without a Santa Claus is the ultimate. Dude, I'm not even kidding. That one might be the one I watched the most as a kid. For whatever reason, me and my brothers watched that one all the time. Maybe we were just, I don't know, we're downers or whatever. The one where Christmas is pretty much canceled. But yeah, we watched a lot of Christmas movies growing up, and that was one we watched a lot. Year Without a Santa Claus. I don't think it holds up as much these days. I tried to watch it last year, and it's pretty corny. Corny in a kind of roll your eyes kind of way, instead of like the charming kind of corny like I think Rudolph is. And I think Santa Claus is my favorite. Although I think Rudolph is technically better. Santa Claus is so weird, and it's like a weird fantasy epic journey movie. I really like it. Kevin House is responding to Jeffrey about watching on TCM. Kevin House. I think Kevin House is quite a bit older than me, so he might have watched. He's been watching TCM for a while. Uh-oh, I just got a notification that my camera is about to die. Hopefully that is not a problem. I might have to check that in a second. Kevin House is still on to me about Frosty. Code Anime Fan, even though the Flash isn't technically... Oh, we're talking about Flash again. I have nothing to say about Flash. I haven't seen it. Let me see. Kevin House, The Third Man is one of my top 10 favorite films ever. I mean, it's great. I watched it after I picked this up in the store. And it is really good. Again, like not even my favorite genre of film, but it's really, really good. Really fun. Kevin House, that's a great story about how you started watching TCM. Yeah, I kind of truncated a little bit. I didn't really go into the details because I didn't want to bore everybody. But yeah, that was, I mean, that was interesting. That was what led me to, basically why I started this channel in the first place, was because I started doing that. Started watching TCM films, and through that, I started getting into the Criterion Collection. Also, meeting Connor was a big reason why I started this channel. But yeah, I didn't grow up with classic films. I grew up with crappy kids' films that my parents bought. So I have a lot of catching up to do. It's basically ever since that, and ever since getting into the Criterion Collection, I've just dove headfirst and really found a love for classic cinema that I wasn't exposed to growing up. I'm trying to rectify that with my kids and expose them to things earlier in life, because I just wasn't exposed to that stuff, and I wish I was, because I'm never going to catch up. I've got so much catching up to do. And I'm trying, but there's not enough time in the day to watch all the stuff I want to watch, because, like I said, I'm very far behind. Let me see. Jeffrey E. Patron. I found my copy of The Third Man in Austin, Texas, circa 2008, and it was such a rush to find, right? I had the same thing. I was like, I mean, it was expensive. It was like $100, but just the fact that I even found it in a store, in a Half Price Books of all places, like, who turned that in? Somebody must have, I don't know. I don't know why that was turned in, because I know they didn't get any money for it. Half Price Books doesn't give you any money for your donations. They probably got ripped off. But I was happy to pay $100 for it, because that thing is hard to find, and the fact that it was in such good condition. I mean, very lucky on that one. I'm gonna try to plug in my phone here so it doesn't die on me. I'm shooting from my phone. That's actually the camera I'm using tonight, and I'm getting a little notification that my phone is dying. So hopefully we make it out. I do have it plugged in. I'm not sure why it's not charging. Holy cow. I am getting lost in these comments here. We've got Renzo Kuzia again. Pop this question up here. Would love also for you to have longer in-store vlogs where you talk about them in-store Barnes & Nobles, like We Are With You, when you go through what they have and what's in your mind during it. Oh, I know. That's definitely the most requested thing on these vlog videos, is people want to actually see me talk in stores. I'm just so, I am not comfortable doing that, and I don't feel comfortable like asking my guests to do that, because, you know, sometimes there's people right there, and I'm still new to this whole YouTube thing, and I just feel so weird talking at my phone when I'm in the middle of a store. I don't know. Hopefully I have to get over that if I'm going to be doing vlogging and YouTube stuff for any amount of time. But yeah, I just get in there and I whip my camera out and shoot some stuff real quick. It is easier because I'm using my phone instead of like a big bulky camera. So I'm just kind of holding my phone. But I don't know. I've never been one of the people who can just hold their camera to their face and talk in public. It makes me uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm bothering people. And also there's music playing in all my Barnes & Nobles, so the audio doesn't turn out great. Like, I tried it once. Like, the first time we did one with Connor, we recorded in the store and talked quite a bit, and then it just didn't, the audio didn't come out great. The music was playing over the background, which will probably give me copyright strikes. So, ooh, there's the fireworks. Fireworks are going off. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a little bit of, chat a little bit inside the stores this time. But I don't know, man. I feel much more comfortable just asking my guests to come over afterwards and we just talk at the house. We're a little more free and we don't feel rushed. But I hear you. I definitely hear you. And I might do a little bit more of that. I am getting a little bit more comfortable on camera. I've been posting a lot on TikTok. I don't know how many of you use TikTok. There is a strong collecting, I don't know what you would call it, just a group of collectors over there that are really big into physical media. I've made a lot of friends over there already, and it's, I don't know, if you're one of those people that's weary of TikTok and thinks it's just for Gen Z dance videos, I would really recommend you going over there. David over there is an incredible follow. He is so knowledgeable about the Criterion Collection. He's got a complete collection. He's doing all kinds of podcasts. He's actually been to the Criterion studios, and he's so knowledgeable about stuff. I learn a lot from him. Pro Texter is a huge physical media fan. He's been collecting for like 20 plus years. He knows so much more than me, and I've been learning a lot from him. And they're such cool guys. That's the thing, is like, you see these guys on there that have like 40,000 followers, 50,000 followers, and they're leaving comments on my videos, my tiny little 16,000 subscriber or follower videos, and they're talking to me about stuff, and we're just having good conversations. So I find it a real close-knit group over there, and a lot of people talking about some really cool collecting stuff. So I'm having a good time. So I'm getting a little bit more comfortable on camera shooting those videos. And I've been trying to post those on YouTube too, but I haven't been posting all of them. YouTube shorts are annoying because you can only post like 1 minute, and TikTok allows me to post 3. So some of them I can't translate over to here. But I am enjoying making short videos for you guys. It's been fun to just kind of get something out, close to every day, because I can only do once a week on YouTube just because I don't have the time. Ethan Edwards says, I love the Third Man Zither score. That's true. I do remember the score being really great. Physical Media Matters. I love that name. I agree with that name. I think it's the first time I've seen you. Really enjoy your channel, DJ. I also enjoy the dynamic between you and Connor. How did you two meet? Great question. We were actually talking about this the other day because someone asked this in a comment, and I couldn't remember, and neither could Connor. The details are a little fuzzy, but overall, I will say we met through another YouTube channel called Geekvolution, which is a great channel. I recommend. I've been following it for 10 plus years. Got me through college. He's a really great reviewer and analyzer of superhero movies and all things geekdom. But yeah, we met through that channel. We both were on that channel as guests. And then they used to do on the Patreon, they used to do these kind of like just hangouts. Google Hangouts. Remember Google Hangouts when that was a thing? We used to do these Google Hangouts with the guy over there, Geekvolution. That's my friend Cap, who came to visit last week. Oh, sorry, I haven't even told you. We're putting Last Year and Marion Bad in this one. Look at that. Oh, it's gonna look so good with the white. But yeah, we met through Geekvolution. We were in one of those hangouts together talking to Cap, and I think we maybe hung out afterwards on one of those after Cap had left. We sometimes the guys would hang around and just talk to each other. And I had mentioned that I got to be an extra on Spider-Man Homecoming. And I think he was asking me some questions about that because he was interested, because he's a big comics guy. And look at that. Oh, Last Year at Marion Bad. Looking super nice. I love it. Haven't seen this film yet. This is going to be the one. I was actually planning on watching this right after I bought it, but we got completely derailed with the whole Indiana Jones watch through that my wife and I were doing. So we haven't seen this yet, but that is close to the top of the list for what I want to watch for my Criterion shelf soon. So we've got 3 down. We've got Third Man, Time Bandits, and Last Year at Marion Bad. Excuse my lighting, but they're looking great. Where was I? Oh yeah, How I Met Connor. So yeah, we met through the Geekvolution channel. But what we can't remember is how in the world Criterion Collection came up. Because I had only bought a couple Criterions. I bought Pan's Labyrinth, and I bought, I bought Lord of the Flies, which I still haven't seen. And then I bought It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, that beautiful digipack. And for whatever reason, we were talking one day. We were talking through Messenger, and then we got each other's phone number, and we were texting each other. And Criterion Collection came up, and we really hit it off from there. And he got me to go to my first July sale. We made that video, and then he was in my first video on the channel. He's part of the reason I started the channel. I don't know if I really would have started the channel if I didn't have that big boom of Criterion collecting that really set me on my way. But yeah, Connor's a big reason for that, and we've been fast friends ever since. So he's been one of my closest friends now, even though it's only been a few years. Really, and even though he lives all the way across the country in Portland, Oregon. But yeah, it's been great. I've really enjoyed having him as a friend, and I can't imagine doing this without him. So thank you so much, Connor, and thanks for the question, Physical Media Matters. I'm glad you enjoy our dynamic. I wish we could do more things. It's hard to find time. But actually, speaking of that, I've already shot a video with him. We did a discussion video just a few days ago, and I already have it edited. It's already done. I'm going to post that in the next few days, so look forward to that. Let me see. Kevin House still going on about the Rankin and Bass, which I love. Yes, Rankin and Bass is great. Rudolph has been my favorite Rankin and Bass special since I first saw it in the 60s. It means a lot to me. I'm 61, by the way. Yes, I remember you telling me your age. That's incredible. The fact that you are 61, so much wiser than I am, and listening to me means a lot to me. I don't know what it is that I bring to the table, because you are so much more knowledgeable than I am, but I always love to have you here. I love reading your comments, and I love chatting with you. Rudolph, yes, Rudolph is the best. Just objectively, I think Rudolph's the best. I just have a soft spot for Santa Claus is Coming to Town because I'm a big fantasy guy, and it's kind of a classic fantasy movie. I'm gonna peel off this next one. Slipmaker. I find the TikTok algorithm actually caters to my interests more than YouTube or Twitter. Very nice place, though I don't make content on it. I would 100% agree with you. 100%. The TikTok algorithm is just brilliant. Like the stuff that it shows me, the niche videos that it shows me about physical media and movies and collecting, and I don't know how it knows the stuff I'm interested in. But once you get in there, I mean, once you first started making an account, it might, you might get some dumb videos that you don't really care about. But after you start interacting with some videos, I can give you a few, quite a few good accounts to follow for. Maybe I should do some shout outs for some physical media collecting channels, and once you just interact with some of their videos, it knows what you're into, and you're off, man. There's so many very knowledgeable collectors on there, and I'm really glad I found it out. I agree with you, Slipmaker. I also post on Instagram, but TikTok is just so much, I don't know, it's just so much more user-friendly as far as like what it shows people and getting your videos out there. I post the exact same videos on TikTok and on Instagram, and they get viewed by thousands and thousands of more people on TikTok than Instagram. Instagram is letting me down. I think I started both those accounts at the same time. Not that it's all about follows, but if I'm gonna take time away from YouTube to make content, I want to at least get the word out there. And I started both those accounts at the same time, posting the same content, and I have like 90 followers on Instagram, and I have 1,600 plus on TikTok just after a few months. Like, it's crazy. It's a crazy platform, and I really enjoy listening to people's short form content on there. It can be, a lot of people are worried that it's super distracting and it might, suck all the time out of your day, which can be true. But if you only follow things you're interested in, and it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I don't feel like I'm wasting too much time on there. I'm mostly getting inspiration to make my own content, which is always helpful. Ethan Edwards, Marion Bad is great but challenging. Okay. That is good. That's good to know. That's actually really good to know going in. I enjoy challenging films, but sometimes it's nice to know before you head it in. Maybe I'll watch that one with Grace, maybe not. She can go either way on challenging films. As long as there is enough plot going on, she's usually game, but she doesn't like watching Eric Romer movies with me. I really, really enjoy Eric Romer, but she is not a fan of his just kind of laid back, slice of life, meandering kind of style, which I really enjoy because it connects with me on such a strong level, because I feel like he and I are kindred spirits. I feel like he's the same kind of temperament, personality, and went through a lot of the same, very eerily similar life experiences that I went through. Good grief. I could talk about my night at Mods for hours, and it would be very spooky, the similarities there. But yeah, he's one of my favorites, but she doesn't love his stuff, which is fine. No, not everyone has the same cups of tea. And I don't, I wouldn't consider his films challenging, but they can be challenging if you're not engaged. But I'll keep that in mind watching Last Year at Marion Bad. I think the mystery element and the surrealistic element will keep her engaged on those, or on that film. I'm excited to check it out. And I actually have a bunch of his films now because I just did that whole video where I found a bunch of his stuff. All right, guys, we're getting into the spoilers here. Okay, so don't tell anyone else on the channel about this. This is just for this live stream. I'm going to film videos about these later, and we'll get let me see, 5.5, 5.5, 5. Sorry, I'm having to do boring math on the channel here. I think this is for the one. I know which one that one's for. I know which one that one's for. And I think that's all of them. I think this one actually might have been for Last Year and Bad, but we've already put one in there, so we're going to reveal. Okay, this is it. I've got 3 new out-of-print digipacks here that I haven't revealed on the channel yet. I'm very excited to have these. This first one's actually the biggest one, so probably should have saved this one for last. But here it is, the Man Who Fell to Earth. I finally tracked down a copy of the Man Who Fell to Earth digipack in pretty good condition. Found it for, I think, right around $100, which I was not able to find this one for $100 on eBay. It was usually going for like $160 to $200. So happy I found this one for around the same price that I got Third Man. I have not finished this film yet. I watched the first half when it was on the Criterion channel, and I'm excited to be able to finish it now because it's gone off the Criterion channel now. It's not there anymore, but boom. Man Who Fell to Earth is now in the collection, and I'm going to keep it safe, keep it secret, keep it safe. Right here, in this case, oh, it's a perfect tight fit. Jeffrey Patron, only the very best spoilers with just a hint of boring math. That's what I'm going to try to keep it classy around here. But yeah, man, collecting is not all sunshine and rainbows. You got to do math. You got to measure things. It's very intricate, especially if you're going to buy these fancy cases. But I think they look great. I'm very happy with how they're turning out. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is a very odd live stream, but that was kind of the reason I haven't been doing a lot of live streams, is I wanted something to do. I need something to do with my hands. What's that from? Anybody know what that movie's from? That's a favorite of mine that nobody remembers. I'll give you a hint. It's got Ryan Reynolds and Emma Stone and Jeff Daniels are the 3 leads. Really enjoy that film. One of my favorites. Gotta show some love to that movie. There it is. The Man Who Fell to Earth. See, I wanted something to do with my hands while I'm talking to you guys. So it's not, I don't want to get too boring. I don't want to get too predictable. Jeffrey Patron says, that's an amazing addition. Love that movie. I can't wait to check it out. I was intrigued by the first half. I wish I didn't have to stop for whatever reason. I had to stop for some reason, and I had to come back later, and then when I came back, it was not on the channel anymore. So now I can finish it, and it looks great. I'm going to pop it right back down the shelf. I will do a video opening that up for you guys and showing you what it looks like. Even though, a lot of you probably already know what it looks like, because a lot of you have massive collections that I don't even compare to. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Slowly but surely, we're building up the Criterion collection. Jeffrey Patron, thanks for the amazing questions. Kevin House, returning on the bus from a school band competition in '76. I softly started singing Meet Me in St. Louis. The guy behind me said Judy Garland 1944. We've been friends ever since. Oh, that's amazing, dude. See, that's why you cannot be shy about your interests, because you never know who else is going to be into the same stuff as you. And you gotta just, be yourself. For a long time, I struggled with that. I was always, hiding my geeky, especially from girls. Good grief. I never let on that I was, because I wasn't into classic film growing up, but I was a big superhero fan, fantasy, sci-fi movie fan. Yeah, I never let on to the girls how important that stuff was to me. And never really got serious. I never really had a serious girlfriend until I met my wife, and I was my full self with her while we were dating. Very, just 100% from the get-go. I was able to just be my 100% full self with her, and it paid off handsomely, because I think she's amazing, and I'm so glad. And she happened to be into a lot of the same things as me. She was into superheroes. She was a big Spider-Man fan. She was also into watching Best Picture nominees even before me. She's the one who got me into that. And you just gotta be yourself. I know it's the cheesiest thing ever, but it's because it's true. Just be your dorky, geeky self, and if it's meant to be, it'll work out. You'll attract the kind of people that you want to hang around with. Don't change yourself. Look at me preaching in this live stream. What am I talking about? How did I get on this channel? Oh, because Kevin House's amazing story about meeting one of his best friends. That's an awesome story. And that's an amazing movie. I know you said that was one of your favorites. If you haven't seen Meet Me in St. Louis, one of the best movies ever. One of the best Christmas movies, but not just a Christmas movie. It kind of takes place over a whole year. And I need to watch that again, because I loved it the first time I watched it. I actually did the same thing as you. I started, but not as cool, nowhere near as cool as you, singing from Meet Me in St. Louis. I sang I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan. Just started singing it at the lunch table one time in high school, and everyone joined in. It was like a musical. It was very cool. One of the highlights, one of my high school highlights was singing that with everybody. That was great. Such a great song. One of my favorite Disney songs. Maybe we should talk about Disney songs at some point on here. We've done our favorite Disney movies, much to people's chagrin, because I included things that nobody wants to include. But yeah, Disney songs was another big one. Big classic discussion topic. Code Anime Fan, do you have any VHS tapes? No, I don't. I'm sure I do at my parents' house. I don't think they've gotten rid of any of our stuff. Maybe they have. I don't know. I'm sure they're still around. But I don't have any VHS tapes anymore. Ever since I moved out, I left all that stuff there. I wasn't a big collector growing up. I didn't really start collecting until high school, when I started collecting, superhero films. Those are the first things I started collecting. I started collecting all the Marvel films. I was a big Marvel guy. And then I only had maybe 20 DVDs when Blu-ray started coming out, and then I switched over to Blu-ray, and I started collecting Blu-ray. So I really didn't start collecting until Blu-ray was a thing. So, I had the VHSs I grew up with as a kid, but I didn't keep those. And I didn't have a lot of DVDs to upgrade. I know a lot of you guys have been collecting forever, and you had a lot of DVDs that you had to upgrade to Blu-ray, and then Blu-ray to 4K. The struggle is real for collectors, but I didn't start to Blu-ray, so I don't have a lot of my stuff before that. So I don't have any VHS tapes. I do remember a lot of them. I had, some of the big, bulky Disney films on VHS tape. What's this one going to be? It's slightly bigger, slightly thicker. Can you guys guess? Maybe that's what I should do. What do you think? What out-of-print Criterion Digipack do you think is going to go in this thick daddy? Look at that. It's a big one. What do you think? Let me see here. That's another thing, Code Anime Fan. VHS collectors, big part of TikTok. There's a lot. Like I said, Protexter earlier is a great follow. He's a musician, he's a collector, and he's a VHS custom tape maker. He makes awesome custom tapes. He made this Willy Wonka chocolate bar tape, and he swapped out made his own custom golden ticket sticker for the sticker that goes on the middle of the VHS tape. So he painted the whole thing brown like a chocolate bar, put the golden ticket sticker on there, put it back in the case, and he gives them away. He gives all of his customs away to his followers, which is such a cool thing for him to do. And they're super cool and they still work. He takes the reels out before he paints them, so they still work. But I've seen a lot of VHS collectors on there. I've seen custom VHS makers on there. It's just a big industry that I didn't even know existed. So I'm glad I hopped on there because there's a lot of cool guys on there. Kevin House. In high school, this friend I mentioned and I went together to a Bing Crosby album advertised on TV. Let your geek flag fly. Exactly. See, Kevin House knows. Kevin House has been letting his geek flag fly for 50 plus years, and that's awesome. I hope I'm as cool as Kevin House is when I'm his age, because he is one of the coolest guys I talk to on here. No offense to the other guys, you're all very cool. Kevin House says, I would love a discussion about Disney songs. Disney songwriter Richard Sherman is still alive at 95. Wow, that's incredible. Is he one of the ones who worked on the shorts, the Winnie the Pooh shorts, which were later collected in the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh? Because I remember when that movie came out, when Christopher Robin came out, they had the end credits scene, which was an homage to those songwriters, because, you know, you think it's just that trailer fodder scene where they're on the beach, but it's actually, it pans over and the songwriters are right there on camera. I kind of wish it was in the movie and not just at the end, because I adore the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh shorts. Those are some of my favorite Disney animated creations, and I think the music on there is all great. So I'm glad they paid the respect to those guys. Oh gosh, my wife is watching. Grace Martinez, what's your favorite movie that your wife has introduced you to? Wow, put me on the spot. Good grief. Sound of Music, I think. I really love Sound of Music. No, and also, we were just listening to it in the car today with the kids. What is it called? My Fair Lady. My Fair Lady might be one of my absolute favorite musicals, and Grace introduced me to that. I think she grew up watching that with her grandmother. But and Sound of Music, both of those are incredible. Also, Oklahoma, you showed me. She showed me all the classic musicals because I was really lacking in my musical knowledge. But yeah, you showed me a lot of great things. Also, you know, you've shown me some really great rom-coms, which, you know, is not my favorite genre, but you showed me Not In Time, excuse me. About Time. In Time is a horrible science fiction movie with Justin Timberlake, but which I think we also watched together just out of, you know, entertainment purposes. But yeah, About Time is a great movie, but I'm sure you've showed me tons of things, Grace. I can't think of them all right now, but I'm going to go with My Fair Lady as my answer. Oh, Jeffrey Patron got it. It's Nashville. Jeffrey Patron guessed Nashville. Jeffrey Patron, you are on point tonight. This is it. So I got this from eBay. Very good deal. I think I got this for about $50, which is nuts because this is one of the Paramount titles that went out of print recently, and it's a shame because it's one of the most beautiful digipacks they've ever released. I'm gonna do a full video. You know what I'm probably gonna do is just lump all three of these into one video and just call it like out of OOP update or something, Criterion out of print update, and go through all these because I'm so excited to have these. I don't have the other two Paramount titles yet, which are I do have Harold and Maude. I did a short about that, but I don't have Days of Heaven, and I don't have Rosemary's Baby, because those are just standard jewel cases. I don't know if I'm going to pick those up or not, actually. I probably will, just for the collection, but Rosemary's Baby just got announced that it has a 4K coming out, so it might, I don't know if I should get the 4K or if I should just stick with the Criterion. I don't know if it'll be that much of a difference. Obviously, the Criterion will go better with my collection. But yeah, this is Nashville. So excited to check this out. This is Robert Altman film, which I haven't seen yet, but I just watched, what is that other The Player, that other Robert Altman film that's in the collection. I'm sure there's more, but I watched The Player a few months ago with Grace. Love that movie. Such a meta masterpiece. Very, very entertaining movie. And that is a movie from 1992, which is the year I was born. And I have not, there's a running joke on this channel that I have not seen enough good movies from 1992. I haven't barely seen any good movies from 1992. So I was glad to put that on the list. That's probably the best one I've seen right now, just by default. There it is, Nashville. Looks awesome. It's been on the shelf for a while, but I haven't showed it to you guys yet. Just because there's so many videos I want to make, and I don't have time to make all the videos that I want to. I wish there was more time in the day. I wish this was my full-time job, but I still don't make any money off this. This is just a fun hobby that I do. The channel is monetized now, but you can't even get your first paycheck until you earn like $100, I think is the cutoff, and I haven't. I haven't earned $100. I'm nowhere near $100. Advertisers do not pay very much for tiny little 1,000 subscriber channels. So someday I will get my first YouTube paycheck, but that is not today. And you know, it'll never be enough to like live off of. It'll always be a hobby, but you know, it'll be nice to make a little bit of money off of it, because all of it's going to go directly back into the channel, so I can buy more cool stuff and I can show it to you guys. That is the third man. What am I showing you that for? I'm showing you Nashville is the one we're on, and then we've got one more here, I believe. Let's look here at the packing slip. Yeah, here it is. Now this one is going to be an easy guess, I'm sure, because it is even bigger than Nashville. This is a huge, this is much bigger than Nashville. So put your guesses in the chat as to what you think this is going to cover up. It's another out of print Criterion Digipack that I just acquired. I'm sure you guys will know this one. This is kind of obvious. There's not a lot of these ones, these big, huge ones. I wish we made more of these, but you know, they take up space on the shelf. So what are you gonna do? Alden Tuttle, there's so many videos I wish I could make as well, right? There's not enough time, man. I have so many ideas, and you just got to prioritize the ones that you think people, you know, want to see the most. But you know, you also got to do stuff that makes you happy. I've been kicking around this idea for a while, to do a video that is kind of a sad video, but it's Holy Grail pieces, collector's pieces that I will probably never own and never get to talk about on the channel, but I want to, you know, talk about them in some way, even though they're so astronomically expensive that I'll likely never find them for an affordable price. So I thought about doing like a top 10 just Grail pieces that I'll never own and just talk about those, because that's the only way I'm going to get to talk about them. But yeah, I just can't find enough time in the day to, you know, I got to do some research for that one and write out a little bit, you know, about, you know, what they include. So that one's been on the back burner for a while. Hopefully I can do that. There is, you know, there's some Eric Romer sets that are beautiful that I would love to get, but they're going for like $500. There's some silly ones too. Like there is a Pokemon set that's like all the Pokemon movies, which I'm not even that interested in because I only watched like the first few, but it's like, you know, all the Pokemon movies, and it's a Blu-ray set, and it goes for like $1,000 on eBay. Look that up. It's crazy. Never gonna get that. But yeah, I'd like to talk about those at some point, because there's some beautiful box sets out there. There's a lot of World Cinema Library releases that go for like hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I'll never get. And there's a lot of the collectible full slips and one clicks from some of the places like Manta and Everything Blue and all those companies that put out those really nice deluxe editions of like one film, and it's like $400, $500 for like one film, and I can't justify that. I would really like the Manta edition of Shape of Water, but yeah, it goes for like $500 just for that one movie, and I can't justify that when I could get like entire collections from Criterion for much cheaper. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll do that video discussing some of those because they're really cool box sets. Jeffrey Patron, similar to The Player, my goal Criterion is the first movie I've watched in a theater, Michael Bay's The Rock. Now, when you say my goal Criterion, do you mean you don't own that one yet? Because I've seen that one around. That's one of the old DVDs. I think Connor picked that up when he was here. I don't think it's too expensive, but yeah, I've never seen The Rock. It's crazy that The Rock is a Criterion movie. I don't think they'll get the rights back now, but yeah, that's one of the old DVDs. Cool. So he said favorite movie from 1996. Oh, that's the first movie you watched in the theater. Well, that's awesome. See, you guys are ahead of me. Like, I don't know. I think the first movie I watched in the theater was probably just like, I think it was like A Bug's Life or something, or Mulan. One of those 90s Disney or Pixar films. So yeah, I don't have I don't have a cool story like that. Although I do love A Bug's Life. I just went back to it the other day, and I like it quite a bit, man. You take Seven Samurai, you mix it with a little, Three Amigos, and then you throw in a classic Aesop's Fable, The Grasshopper and the Ant. Great movie. Great movie. I love it. One of my favorite Pixar movies. Doesn't get the love it deserves. All right, so what have you got? What do you think this one is? Still peeling all the stuff off, but yeah, look at that. Look how thick it is. It's very thick. Has anyone guessed it yet? Made it just in time to hear the chat from your fair lady. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, John. Always great to see John Henry. John Henry comments on every single video I make. Always appreciate your support, dude. Thank you so much for your great comments. And I'm glad you made it to the chat. Glad you're here. What do we see next? Kevin House. I was in Oklahoma as a senior. In high school, I played Ike Skidmore, who sings a solo on The Farmer and The Cowman. That's awesome. Yeah, we were just blasting the soundtrack to Oklahoma on the way home today with the kids. Love that soundtrack. What a beautiful morning. Fringe on top. Everything's up to date in Kansas City. Banger of a soundtrack, as the kids say these days. I love Oklahoma. But yeah, I was introduced to that film by my wife. And I wish I had a musical theater. I wouldn't have done it because I was too shy and quiet in high school. But I went to a crappy little tiny private school that had no extracurriculars. And we didn't even have a theater program. But I really wish I had gotten into that. Because I think I'd be better off. I think I'd be much more comfortable in my own skin if I had got into theater that young. John Henry says, hey, DJ and everybody, welcome. Welcome, John Henry. Yes, that is my festive shirt. I try to dress up for the occasion. Jeffrey E. Patron, Samurai Trilogy would be my guess, but I'm likely off by a bit. Yes, it's not Samurai Trilogy. This is actually quite thicker than the Samurai. Oh, wait, maybe not. I know what you're talking about now. No, it is not that. It is just a singular film. John Henry says, glad to hear Bug's Life holds up. I think it does. I don't know, if everyone will agree with that, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. That was my favorite after Wall-E. You are not alone, sir. Wall-E is a lot of people's favorite Pixar films, and that is in the Criterion Collection. If you want to pick up a really nice quality version of it, John Henry, pick up the Criterion one. I think it's the most definitive version of that film you're ever going to find. Jeffrey E. Patron with the great guesses. He said I could also see Monterey Pop. Monterey Pop. I don't think that's out of print, but that is a really nice set, and I don't have it yet, but I could probably put that in one of these cases too. I'm going to reveal it. I'm going to reveal what it is. It's Red River, which if you haven't seen this version of it, there's a couple different versions of the Digipack. This one is huge because it comes with a complete, I don't want to reveal too much because I'm going to do this in a video, but yeah, it comes with a complete John Wayne movie, Western, comes with a complete Digipack, a real thick Digipack, which is a DVD and Blu-ray combo pack, and then it also comes with the full novel by Borden Chase. I think that's actually, yeah. So here you go. Got both of those. I found this recently on eBay. Again, so what overseas boutique label are you hoping to get more of? I know you've been buying more stuff from some of those lately, like BFI. Great question. Stephen Murphy, wonderful subscriber. He's always talking. I think he's overseas. And he is always talking about incredible things that he has access to that I don't have access to, and things that he is remiss that he can't get access to that I have access to because we're in different parts of the world. But I can definitely answer that question. A lot of things. So BFI is a big one. I would love to have easier access to get BFI. There's a lot of crossover, of course, with some of the labels that we have here in America, but there's some that's not. A lot of British films, I was lucky enough to find a lot of those BFI films from that CD warehouse one time. Just randomly, someone turned in a bunch of those, and I got lucky enough to find them. But I haven't seen any since. But I would love to get more BFI films. I love the packaging on those. I love all the information and the booklets that come included with those. I also have the big box set of Oh, what is that director's name? Who directed? Good grief, I'm blanking. Passion of Joan of Arc director. I have the BFI box set from him. But yeah, BFI is a big one. Arrow is a big one. Arrow, man. Arrow from the UK is getting all the good releases lately. They just announced that beautiful Psycho, complete collection of the Psycho films that's only available in the UK, not in America. The Robin Hood Prince of Thieves was only available in the UK. I had to buy that from overseas. So there's a lot of Arrow releases that I would be excited to get, especially Arrow Academy stuff from back in the day when Arrow Academy used to put out a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of that I can find some of it on eBay, but it goes for really expensive because it's very hard to get your hands on. So yeah, Arrow Academy. Indicator is the big one. Indicator's the big one, Stephen Murphy. You're so lucky that you have Indicator near you because there's a lot of stuff on there that I want to get, but even buying it straight from the site, the shipping to get it over here is like $20-30 for one thing, and it's like it just blows up the price to more than I can pay. So I really wish I had Indicator. Stephen Murphy says he's in Ireland. Awesome. That's awesome, man. What's your favorite movie based in Ireland? They're probably, not very accurate, but I really like The Quiet Man. Watched that this last St. Patrick's Day. Had a blast. John Ford, incredible movie. Check it out if you haven't. John Wayne in not a Western. More of just like a drama, romance, comedy type thing. But me and Grace had a blast watching that movie. When I drink whiskey, or when I drink water, I drink water. And when I drink whiskey, I drink whiskey. Here it is. Red River in the bulky case. Ooh. Looks nice. These make them look so much nicer. Now, I've seen people that put slipcovers in these, and I think steelbooks in these, and I think they make steelbooks look much better. My biggest problem with steelbooks is I don't like the way they look on the spine, because they're all rounded and like usually two different colors. That's why I don't buy a lot of steelbooks, because the spines don't look good on the shelf. But some steelbooks that I do get, like the Rand steelbook, I like it because it has a slipcover over it. So maybe that would help some of my steelbooks if I got these cases for them. But I love how snugly they fit. I love how they have all kinds of different sizes. This is not an advertisement for these. I don't get any money from these, but I'm satisfied with them. I think they make them look really good. Like I said, I'm not going to buy them for all of them, but just my out of print digipacks that I have that I don't want to get damaged. So we've got Red River, we've got Nashville, we've got Man Who Fell to Earth. That's all the 3 new ones. And then we've got the classics, which you've seen on the channel already last year at Marion Bad. Very nice. We've got The Third Man and the Time Bandits Blu-ray slipcover. Very happy the way these turned out. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting to have me doing that while I was talking, but I can't wait to get those back up on the shelf. Maybe I'll have to do a new shelf tour soon. I do need to do a new shelf tour soon because I've almost filled up the Criterion corner. I've been adding to it a lot, and I need to do another shelf tour soon. But yeah, there they are. These will all, not all of them, but most of them will be displayed front facing like that. So glad to have that actually in a better case now. Third Man. But yeah, what the heck was I talking about? Irish movies with Stephen Murphy. Jeffrey Patron. They also pack the original novel with the addition of Man Who Fell to Earth. I own. That's a nice touch. They do that at Criterion for some adaptations. Yeah, they did it for, and I didn't get one for this. I probably should get one for this. The Picnic at Hanging Rock out of print digipack also has a novel in it. It's about this size. I could probably get another one of these. And these are not expensive. I think they're like $3, $2 or $3. But I should get one for Picnic at Hanging Rock. You just reminded me of that. Carl Dreyer. Thank you, Kevin. Carl Dreyer is who I was thinking of. I have the Carl Theodore Dreyer BFI complete collection of his films, which looks super nice. John Henry, you and Steve have greatest grass is greener on the other side relationship ever. Would be great if the movies you green casing. I don't know what that means. Maybe he's not talking to me. Maybe he's talking to someone in the chat. But yeah, John Henry talking to you guys. So yeah, that is it. I mean, obviously I want to keep talking to you guys if we can. What are we at here? We're at 9:47. So we've been live for an hour 16. All right. yeah, I'm gonna hang out a little bit more. We'll finish out the hour if you guys want to keep talking. If not, I can wrap it up. If you have any questions, I'm leaving it up to you guys. If you want to take the conversation into a different direction, whichever way you want to go, I'm totally fine. But yeah, I just wanted to get these opened. I've had this package here for a few days, but I was like, I'll wait and do this on camera just to be a fun little live stream thing. I can get these opened up. But let me know what you guys are buying and collecting these days. I am, like I said, I just got the 4K. If you didn't see that, the video, I just got the 4K limited edition box set of Waterworld, which I am very excited about. I want to make my wife watch that movie, even though it's kind of a sillier movie. But I haven't bought any Criterions in the sale yet. That Pasolini 101 box set is calling my name. I think I might have to pick that one up this year and pick up some other things in the collection, but I haven't picked up anything yet. Have you guys picked up anything in the sale yet? Be sure to let me know what you guys have picked up in the Criterion sale, because I don't know, man. I haven't even made a trek out there yet. I haven't even looked. I've been holding off, but I do need to get out there and see what's there before everyone buys everything up. And there's a few titles in my wish list that I want to track down. So hopefully I can find a lot this year. There's 4 stores that I usually hit around my area, but I just learned this morning from a friend of mine in the area that there are 2 other stores nearby that I haven't even been to. So maybe I'll check out 6 stores this year. Who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen. It's July, and it's the 50% off sale, and I'm so excited to dive in. I guess we're only 2 days in, right? Is today the 2nd or the 3rd? Yeah, we're only a few days in, even though it did start early this year. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what I pick up. Kevin House. So far, he has bought A Brighter Summer Day and Devil's Backbone. Okay. Devil's Backbone is great. I love most of Guillermo del Toro stuff. I'm not a huge fan of... What's your guys' favorite Guillermo del Toro movie? Because I hear very mixed things on this. My favorite, I think, is Pan's Labyrinth. I think I'm deciding on Pan's Labyrinth. Shape of Water is right there, though. I love Shape of Water. And then all the Criterion ones are in my top 5. I love Chronos. Love Chronos, I think, more than anybody I've talked to. And I love Devil's Backbone, which you just picked up. Great movies. I think they're great. And I can't wait for Nightmare Alley, which is apparently coming to the collection. I think that was kind of a leak. I know I saw a post about someone who talked to Guillermo del Toro, and he said that Nightmare Alley was potentially coming to the collection with like a black and white version, which I'm super excited about because I don't own that movie because I didn't pick up the 4K release because I didn't like the slipcover. It had that ugly Disney banner across the top, which always annoys me. But if they put out a Criterion, I will be there day one to pick up that one. Anyway, what was I talking about? Kevin House picked up Devil's Backbone. He also picked up a Brighter Summer Day. That is on my short list. I might have to pick that one up too. I was just reminded of that film on Instagram from Criterion Collection themselves. They posted a post with a bunch of summer movies, summer movie recommends from the Criterion Collection that you could check out. And I think that one's on the Criterion channel. Maybe I should watch it there first and then pick it up. But I've been in a summer movie mood. Eric Romer watched his Tale of Summer in his 4 Tales of the Four Seasons series that he did. He also has a lot of summer movies, but I've been in the mood for summer movies because it is definitely summer here in Atlanta. It is. The real feel was like 104 today. It was insane. So hot. But watching summer movies inside in the AC makes it all better. Let's see, John Henry. Let's try this again. He said he messed up the first time. Sorry, I meant that being that you have movies Steven wants and he has movies you want, those movies could have green packaging for a grass is greener on the other side. Might not have made sense. I see what you're saying, yeah. If I could figure out some kind of system with Stephen Murphy and he could ship me UK stuff and I could ship him American stuff, that would be very, very ideal because that would clear things up quite a bit. It's just still, you got to pay for shipping. I mean, even if he would just ship stuff to me, it would still cost, $20, $30 to get that stuff shipped over here, and vice versa. David Chase. Good to see you, David Chase. Good to talk to you. I'm beginning to lose my voice. So we will probably wrap this up pretty soon, but I'm enjoying talking to you guys, so I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. How often are you blind buying versus buying what you've seen before? These days, I've been blind buying a decent amount while also upgrading some of my favorites to 4K. Excellent question, David Chase, and I actually have been thinking about doing a short about this. One of the cool things about TikTok is how collaborative everybody is, and a lot of videos are just like discussion starting topics, and then everyone will stitch it and join in and leave their answers. I recently did a TikTok where I talked about numbered sets. Like, what numbered limited edition sets do you guys have? I talked about the Ben-Hur, talked about the Willy Wonka, talked about the Ten Commandments, talked about the Eric Romer Four Seasons set. And actually, this Harry Potter set that's my wife's right here is a 1 out of 25,000 limited set. Obviously, the rarest one I have is the Eric Romer set from World Cinema Library that only has 500 copies, but also the Ray Harryhausen sets. All three of those are only 6 out of 6,000 copies. So I did a discussion topic about that, and people were talking about the ones they have. But yeah, I was thinking about doing a discussion, starting a little short video about this, because I used to be anti-blind buy. I used to be one of those guys who was like, why would I buy a movie that I haven't seen? I only buy the movies that I know I have seen and like enough that I know I'm going to watch them again, and I want to have that as a library. But I've really changed my tune on that the last couple of years, getting into the Criterion Collection, watching so many films blind that I didn't even know anything about, and being blown away time and time again. Such a good track record. I mean, there's a couple Criterion films that I haven't liked, and I probably wouldn't purchase. I'm not trying to complete the collection or anything, but yeah, I've been buying a lot more blind buys. Also, getting into the 50% off sales is another big reason for blind buys, because you get in the shopping spirit, and you want to buy a bunch of stuff, especially for those first couple years of the videos on YouTube. I bought a bunch of stuff, which thankfully I was able to do because of the money that I make from the other YouTube channel that I work at, Geekvolution, which I mentioned earlier. So I was able to fund those without putting my children and wife on the street. But so yeah, I buy a lot of blind buys now, and I'm okay with it. I saw a quote. I wish I had it pulled up so I could read it exactly. But it was about books, but it was like the most exciting, like a library of books you haven't seen is nowhere near, or books you haven't or books you've already read is nowhere near as thrilling as a library of complete new adventures that you've never seen. Like there's no better feeling than finishing a book and just going over to your shelf and looking at all the possibilities. So I kind of apply that to, I'll pull that actual quote because I butchered it, but I'll pull that and post that in the community tab on YouTube, and maybe do a short about it too, because I'm fully on board with that now. Like, I agree. There's nothing cooler than walking into here and seeing all the movies that I haven't seen, and like I can just pull one off and go downstairs and watch it, and for the most part I'm not disappointed. There's those few rare occasions, but Criterion is pretty safe. And even the ones that I bought from other labels are pretty safe too. There's I don't know. I'm pro blind buy these days. I'm with you, David Chase. I 100% buy a lot of blind buys, and I'm kind of the point where I'm mostly buying boutique stuff. I'm mostly buying harder to find stuff. I don't feel the need to buy a bunch of new movies right away that I'm not necessarily going to watch. My focus is definitely more on the boutique stuff lately, and I mean all of these are blind buys. I watched Time Bandits before I bought it, but yeah, I hadn't seen The Third Man until I bought it, and then I watched it and I loved it. So yeah, I think the reward is worth the risk. So great question on that one. Code Anime Fan, haven't seen any of Guillermo del Toro's films. Phew, you gotta get on it, man. You gotta get on it. I mean, obviously they're not for everybody. I know some people don't like them, but whew, highly recommend. If you're a little worried about jumping onto international films, then you could check out Some of his more recent American films are really, very good. Nightmare Alley is stellar. I really like Nightmare Alley. Like I said, Shape of Water is incredible. Highly recommend that one. Hope you enjoy those if you do check them out. And Hellboy 2, if you're looking for just the fun, beautifully crafted, beautiful production design film, check out Hellboy 2. That was one of my favorite films from him until I started watching more of his dramas, I think. But Hellboy 2 is still one of my absolute favorite superhero films and comic book adaptations. I love Hellboy 2. So good. So good. John Henry says he's looking forward to seeing Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio thanks to you. I'm assuming it means me. Pinocchio is great. Really, really great. Maybe start with that one, Code Anime fan. Pinocchio is super accessible, especially if you love animation. It's gorgeously animated stop motion film. And one of my favorite from last year. I need to go back to that. I wish we would get a physical release of that. Come on, Netflix. Please release the rights to that. I gotta have that film in the collection. It's a shame to have all of Guillermo del Toro's films except for that one. Not all of them. I don't have Blade 2, and I don't have Mimic. And I probably won't. John Henry, speaking of Blade 2, really likes Blade 2. He says it's one of the best superhero movies purely for action, in my opinion. Kevin House, I also plan to buy The In-Laws with Alan Arkin's recent passing. Great movie. Totally random. Me and my wife just watched The In-Laws a couple weeks ago. So sad. Obviously so sad to hear about Alan Arkin passing, but he is amazing in that movie. And to see him play the straight man, the hilarious straight man to, I can't remember the other actor in that. Someone will have to remind me, but the other actor is just giving a ridiculously insane, over-the-top madman performance, and Alan Arkin is playing it straight, and just to see him completely continue to unravel throughout the movie is so great and so funny, and I'm so happy that I just happened to watch that, because it was great. It was great to see him. Is he in any other Criterion movies? Let me know in the chat if he is in any other. Peter Falk. Thank you, Kevin. Peter Falk is the other guy in that. Whew, what a performance by Peter Falk in The In-Laws. Such a great movie. Let me know what you think of that, Kevin, because I quite enjoyed it. I'm not a huge comedy fan, but the Criterion Collection has been introducing me to some great comedies that I can't deny are excellent films. So I'm really happy about that, because that's a genre that I was very lacking in, because I don't like any modern comedies, really. There's a few, but I definitely prefer the more classic stuff. But yeah, is there any other Alan Arkin performances in the Criterion Collection? Because I would love to pick some up this month too. But we do already have The In-Laws. Grace picked that one up in the November sale, just on a whim. She was looking for comedies, and we really enjoyed that film. Very fun. John Henry, are you looking forward to Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein? I didn't even know about that. Maybe I did. I think I did. If I knew, I slightly forgot for a second. But no, yeah, I'm looking forward to anything he puts out, because he's one of my favorite filmmakers. I've seen all of his films. I like most of them. And the ones that I don't like, I don't think are his fault. I don't think Mimic is his fault. That was his first American film. He got wrapped up in the studio process and butchered his script. So I don't blame Mimic on him. But even that one, which I think is just kind of a generic, standard kind of B-movie horror film, monster film, some really interesting lore with the insects. He's always got a fascination with bugs, and I really like that part of it, and the production design of those insects and all the monsters in that movie look great. But yeah, the rest of it's just kind of generic. But let me see. Would be great if it surpassed Bride of Frankenstein as more accurate adaptation of the book. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've already got the more accurate adaptation of the book in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which I haven't seen. Let me know if that one's worth checking out, guys. I think that was made in the 80s or 90s, along with Bram Stoker's Dracula. But I think that was a pretty accurate adaptation. I kind of don't want Guillermo del Toro to stick, faithfully to the book. I want him to kind of put his own spin on it, like he always does. Because I don't think the Hellboy movies are very accurate. I've talked to some guys who are fans of the comics, and I don't think they're very accurate, and they don't love that. But I love it because it's, a Guillermo del Toro movie through and through, which I love. Naked Zaya, do you ever feel you'll reach a point to narrow down your whole collection to only films you know you'll rewatch versus waiting for when you're in the mood to watch just to keep the film? Yes, 100%. 100% I agree with this. Actually, very soon I'm going to have to start whittling down things. There's a lot of stuff back here, especially on this shelf. There's a few things on the Criterion shelf that I can sell off that I've blind bought and wasn't really a big fan of. And I will try to give them a second watch because I like to give things a second watch because sometimes you're just not in the mood. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the stream, sometimes I don't like a film first time I watch it and I fall in love with it on a second or third viewing. That happened twice with Wes Anderson. Didn't really like French Dispatch the first time, liked it more the second time, loved it the third time. And same thing happened with Grand Budapest Hotel. For whatever reason, wasn't in the right mood the first time I watched Grand Budapest Hotel. And wasn't a fan, but loved it the second time. So I like to give things at least a second watch because sometimes you're just not in the mood and it doesn't hit you right. And then you can have a completely different experience the second time. But yeah, there's a lot of things over here that I bought when I was very young. You know, when you're a young collector and you just buy up everything. It's like, oh, it's a good deal. It's only $5. I'm going to buy it. And there's really no reason to own it. Like, there's a lot of stuff back here. I went through a phase where I was like collecting all of Steve Carell's movies because he's one of my favorite actors at the time in college years. And he was in some stinkers. So there's a lot of movies back there. Like Despicable Me 2 and Meet the Schmucks. And even Anchorman I'm not a big fan of. So I can sell off a lot of those. And there's some movies. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff over here. I need to start calling, what's the word that the collectors are using these days? Curating. Curating the collection is what I need to start doing. Because I'm starting to run out of space. Obviously, this stuff down here is kind of DVDs, TV shows and stuff. So I'm still going to put these down here in the cabinets. Because that's not, in the collection. It's not color-coded. So I'll probably move those somewhere else. So I still have this whole shelf to fill up and a little bit more space up there. But after that, once we fill it up, we're going to have to start curating this stuff and selling off some stuff that I'm never going to watch again. So there's no reason to have it. Unless, it's something I want to show my kids. There's some stuff back here that I just want to have in the library so my kids can grow up with it. But yeah, a lot of, there's a good bit of stuff that I need to drop off at a Goodwill. Maybe I'll do it. I probably will. I've thought about doing a video about that at some point, like going over all the stuff I'm going to sell. And then I'll throw it on the eBay and you guys can go over there and grab something from me if you want, if there's anything you want. But yeah, excellent question. I don't think I'll get to the point, like you said, where I get rid of everything that I'm not going to watch. Because there's some things I just like for the collectability of them. But yeah, I'm definitely going to shrink down so that I can expand more with stuff that I do love. Because there's a lot of stuff back there that I don't need. It's just, but I'm not motivated to do it right now because it's my background. So it looks nice to have it full. If I sold off a bunch of stuff and there's like a bunch of empty space back there, wouldn't look good. But once I have to start selling it off because I run out of space, that'll be more motivation for me to start getting rid of some stuff. Great question, though. Great question. John Henry, you need a dedicated fancy robe, chair, pipe, and fireplace to go along with your classy film collection. Well, I do have a fireplace, and I do have a chair by the fireplace that I could sit in. It's not in here, obviously. This is my office. I couldn't have a fireplace in here. I do want a chair over there, though, for, doing videos in front of the Criterion collection, especially for Criterion Corner. I got to get back doing those discussion videos with Connor because I really enjoy those. So I do want to get a chair over there and kind of fill in this space a little bit because it's a big office and it's very echoey. The roof is high, ceiling is high, so it's very echoey. The sound's not great. I need to do some more soundproofing in here, fill it up. I think it would help if I just filled up the room with kind of furniture and stuff. Also have monitors right here, so the sound is kind of bouncing off those monitors, so it probably doesn't sound great. So sorry about that. But yeah, I'd love to get a chair in here. I'm not going to smoke a pipe. Sorry to disappoint you there, and I've never been a robe guy. Fancy robe, yeah, maybe just for the visual of it. But yeah, I'm not a big robe guy. I like to keep things in, keep it tight. But yeah, I do have fancy chairs, theater chairs in the theater downstairs, which I still haven't showed you guys. We got those chairs like November, yeah, we got those chairs in November. The theater's all done. We've got the posters hung up. I've got to do a video for you guys showing off, because I did that one video. And it's one of my most viewed videos. People are interested in the theater. And then I never did the follow-up. And it's been over 6 months now. We've got the 2 rows of theater seats in there. We've got the posters all hung up. It looks really nice. Remind me to show you guys that soon. I've got to get a video out for that. That's a fun video I'd like to make. But again, not enough time in the day to pump out all the videos I want to. Kevin House, I've been disappointed maybe a handful of times with Criterion blind buys, but most of the time I've enjoyed the films. Same. I would say the exact same thing, but you've seen a lot more than me probably. But yeah, handful of times. Maybe, yeah. Only like 2 or 3 films I can think of that I just didn't like. And maybe another watch would help. But yeah, they just really weren't for me. But then there's some that like I didn't hate, but I also didn't love. So maybe I don't need to own that one. After a second watch, I'll be able to decide. Like, let me know what you guys think of Brazil in the chat. I know Brazil is a huge favorite by most people. And I think another watch would help on that one. Maybe that's one you have to watch a couple times just to get on the same wavelength, because that's a weird movie. I didn't love it the first time, but it might have just been the mood I was in. Or sometimes your expectations aren't set right, and you don't know what you're getting yourself into. But yeah, Terry Gilliam has not been one of my favorite directors on the whole. I like Time Bandits. Jabberwocky was kind of middle of the road. I liked a lot of things about the production design, and the cinematography actually was surprisingly good for a comedy. But yeah, it didn't do too much for me. I have seen Brazil. What else have I seen of Terry Gilliam? I haven't seen Munchausen yet, which I'm very excited to see. I did buy that, and I need to watch that because I'm sure it looks great. And I already love The Adventures of Baron Munchausen because my man Carol Zeman has an amazing adaptation of Munchausen, and I don't think Terry Gilliam's going to top that for me. But I do want to watch his version because that might be one of my favorite. It could be one of my favorite Gilliam films. I hope it is. Pop Culture 33. Amen to not sticking to the book. Take the heart of the book and do your own thing. I agree with you. Although I am kind of a hypocrite. I don't know. There's some I'm kind of the opposite. I know a lot of people prefer to read the book first and then watch the adaptation. I find it a much more rewarding experience to watch the adaptation first. And then if you really like it, it's just a better experience. You love the movie, you get to go have that experience again with the book for the first time, but you get a more full experience and you get a lot more. Whereas if you read the book first, usually it's kind of a disappointing experience to go to the movie because, it's hard to not think of all the things that are missing. I know it's not important. I know you have to cut things to adapt things to film. It's very important. It's necessary. And Lord of the Rings does it, and those are great films, obviously. But it can be tough if you're very close to the source material and then you go see it and it's not exactly the same thing. It can be tough to get my mind out of it. I had that recently with Ben-Hur, which is a book I really like. And the movie, I know everyone loves the movie and it's great. And I just watched it recently, like around Easter time. But I just really had a hard time wrapping my brain around how condensed it is. Like it's 4 hours long, and they leave so much out of the book. So many characters. They simplify it I think too much, in my opinion, on that first viewing. I'm sure I'll like it better on a second viewing, but it was just kind of a shock the first time. But yeah, I support changing and adapting it for film, but sometimes for specific things, it's just tough for me to readjust to certain adaptations, which I hate because I love the way Ben-Hur looks and I think it looks great. But there was just like so many, you combine so many characters and there's just so many good scenes that got cut. I feel like cut the movie off too short. Like there was so much that happened. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to get down a rabbit hole on Ben-Hur, but I would like to discuss that at some point because that's a movie that I really want to really love. And I don't know what it is with that one viewing that I had a hard time with it. But yes, Kevin House. I love Steve Carell and Dan in real life. I love you, man. I love you, Kevin. that is one of my favorite movies. As weird as that might be to say, I freaking love Dan in Real Life. I know I would love it even more now that I have kids. But that was one of my favorite movies. Steve Carell is amazing in that movie, and you've got what's her name, who plays his love interest in that, the French actress who was in Three Colors Blue, and she's in a lot of Criterion films. She's amazing. I love her, and to see her, in her, older years doing an American film with Steve Carell was crazy. That's actually the first time I saw her, was in that film, and to go back and watch some of her, classic films was crazy and really cool. But yeah, I love Dan in Real Life. It's such a fun movie, such a sweet, heartfelt movie. We were actually talking about watching that the other day. Grace said, I want to watch that. I was like, me too. We haven't watched that. Yes, Juliette Binoche. Yes. She is incredible. Probably one of my favorite actresses. And that movie is just so fun. And there's an incredible soundtrack. The soundtrack is all done by one artist, and he did the score and the soundtrack. And that's one of the scores and soundtracks that I listen to quite a bit. It's on Apple Music. And I don't know. I love his score. Sondre Leche is his name, I think. Indie artist that did the whole soundtrack, and it sounds great. I love when it doesn't happen often, but I love when they make completely custom made scores and soundtracks for a film, and it gives the film just this nice sound and this nice feel. And I really love Dan in Real Life. I don't know why. I mean, I could talk about why, but if you haven't seen Dan in Real Life, it's a really, that's one of my favorite Steve Carell movies. Maybe my favorite. Way Back is way up there, but Steve Carell's, I like Way Back more, but that's not a Steve Carell movie. He's kind of the jerk stepdad in that movie. A role that only Steve Carell could play because he's the most likable guy ever. But Dan in Real Life, I can't believe you brought up Dan in Real Life, Kevin. That's great. That is right up there in the white section, and love that movie. Right here, actually. Boom. I would love a better release of this. This is just a standard, generic, bare bones Blu-ray release of this, but I think the poster. It's kind of fun. Very good movie. Thank you for reminding me about that, Kevin. I need to watch that soon. Let me see. John Henry, being that you liked Guillermo del Toro's unique spins, what stories are you excited to see many interpretations of? Do you think that reflects on the strength of the story to be retold so many times? In so many ways? Sometimes. Some stories, like Pinocchio, for example, I think really needed that adaptation, because a lot of people have it in their head that because Disney did such a definitive version of that film and none of the other adaptations have been able to touch that one since, that it's super accurate. But it's not. I mean, it's pretty accurate, but it's not the book. They're very different. In fact, a lot of stuff that Guillermo del Toro included in his version is straight from the book. People think it's, he added all this weird stuff. No, all that stuff is in the book. The weird, like, alternate, minor spoilers, I guess, but like the alternate death dimension with like the rabbits and stuff, that's all in the book. In the angel thing, and most of that stuff is ripped straight from the book. I recently just read the entire book with my son. It took us, several weeks, but we read like a couple chapters every night before bed, and he loved it. I loved it. It's a great book, and his adaptation is very accurate. He did add the kind of the commentary on the war commentary that he added to it. That was mostly him. But a lot of the crazy over the top fantasy stuff that you would associate with Guillermo del Toro is straight from the book. Very cool. So in that case, I think it helps to tell a lot of different versions, because you're not going to like all the versions. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone likes the the Disney remake, the live action remake of Pinocchio. But yeah, I don't know what I would want del Toro to do an adaptation of. I would have been interested to see his Hobbit films. That would have been interesting. But I just want del Toro to make what he wants to make, because those are his best films, the ones that he's super excited about and super into. Because, I don't know, he's very passionate, and I like a lot of his stuff. John Henry, I think adaptations can be great marketing to get to the source material, and then cream rises to the top for what's better. And even if the adaptation is better, the original creation is respected. Yeah, I would agree with that. There's a lot of books that people find out because of the adaptations, and then they end up loving the books. What I don't love is that we always re-release the book with like the art, like the poster of the movie on the front, which is weird. And those covers are never good, but whatever. If it gets people to read the book, I guess that's great. But yeah, there's a lot of adaptations, especially in the Criterion collection, that you wouldn't think would be adaptations, and then you read about them on those little booklets, and you find out they're based on stories. Kevin House, I'm totally with you on the way back. Love it. The only thing I don't like about that film is the title. Yeah, what is the deal with that? What does that mean? I don't know what the way back means. It must be like some inside joke with the directors. There's 2 directors on that film, and I love the way back. It's another one right up there in the white section. But that's one of my absolute favorite films. Definitely in my top 100. Is the way back. I really like it. Let's see. Where are we at here? Where are we at? We're talking forever. I'm gonna lose my voice. 147. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna go over 2 hours. So we will wrap this up. Let's go for about 10 more minutes. 10 more minutes. Put in those questions if you have them, and I will be glad to answer them. It is getting hot in this room under these lights. I should have turned the air on before I came in here. Stephen Murphy, thanks guys for the questions. I love that so many of you guys are here. It warms my heart. Really appreciate you guys checking my humble little channel out, and I just love chatting with you guys. I need to do more of these live streams because I really enjoy these, and it's much easier to talk to you guys directly in real time instead of like, because I read all your comments and then I try to reply to all of them, but I'll read them and then I'll get caught up doing something else, and I'll forget to come back, or I won't have time to come back. So I don't reply to as many of the comments as I should, but I want to give good replies. So I think about it for a little bit, and then I get caught up doing something else. But I definitely read all of your comments, and I really appreciate them. But it is a little nicer to be able to do it in real time like this. Stephen Murphy, your videos on movies/sets you wish would get boutique releases were good videos. Thank you. I really enjoyed doing those. Some choices you and Connor picked have since come out. Are there any more since making that video that you want to see? Yes, I'm sure there are, but I would have to look at my Letterboxd diary and see all the things I've been watching recently that don't have releases. But yeah, right after we made that video, I put the Arsenic and Old Lace on that list, and it came out, like, it got announced like right after we made that video, which I was very excited about. A couple other ones that Connor wanted have come out since, but a lot of those still aren't. The big ones being those Netflix movies that are never going to get a release, seemingly, which is such a bummer. I hate the Netflix originals are not getting physical releases. I think Coda did. Did Coda get a release? I don't even know if Coda got a release. Maybe it's still just exclusively on Apple TV Plus. But yeah, I know there's some that I've wanted that just don't have releases. There's a lot that don't have Blu-rays that are just DVDs. Who is the director of one recent one that I've been looking for? The director of The Phantom Carriage. The Phantom Carriage is one of my absolute favorite movies. I watched that recently. He has a lot of films that aren't in the collection, or aren't even on Blu-ray. And he has a film about a clown that I really want to watch because I was in a mood to watch it recently because the circus was in town and I was watching a lot of circus movies. I watched Santa Sangre, which kind of blew me away. And then I also watched Yo-Yo from Pierre Atax, which I loved. Really loved that movie. I was watching a lot of circus movies. We rewatched Dumbo with the kids. Rewatched The Circus with the Kids by Charlie Chaplin, one of my favorite movies. And I really wanted to watch Victor Shortstrom's circus film about a clown. That's the director of The Phantom Carriage. Sorry if I'm butchering his last name, but I really want to see his movie, and it doesn't have a Blu-ray. It has a Warner Archive DVD, which is actually currently in my cart on Amazon. I think I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and buy the DVD, but I wish it had a Blu-ray release. I would love a collection of his films, just like all together, because he's one of my favorite directors. I think he also did the adaptation of The Scarlet Letter that I watched on TCM that I really, really loved. Also doesn't have a Blu-ray. That was on my list. And I just really love his work. I wish I could get more of his stuff. I love a box set. Please, Criterion, put out a box set of Victor Shortstrom's movies because I would buy it in a heartbeat. He's one of my favorite directors. Check out The Phantom Carriage if you haven't. It's a New Year's movie, but you can watch it. Or maybe wait till New Year's, I guess. It's only 6 months away. But excellent, excellent film. And I would love a Blu-ray of his stuff. But I probably will just buy that clown movie on DVD so I can watch it first. I also watched another clown movie while I was on that circus kick a couple weeks ago. I watched La Strada by Fellini. I've seen my first Fellini film. Loved it. Can't wait to dig into more of those because I really enjoyed that film. And I think he has like he has a few like circus clown related films. I think that was like a big inspiration for him. And I think he was in the circus, and I think he was a clown maybe before he started directing in his younger years. And I think that's a huge, I love that stuff. That's a huge theme. I guess it's not really a theme. I guess it kind of is, but it's also just a huge setting that I just love watching films about. Kevin House, referring to way back, I think it might refer to sitting in the very back of the station wagon, but it's an awful title. Yeah, you might be right, but yeah, that is. Wow, you're right. That's definitely what it is. That's just, yeah, that's not a great title. I wish it had a better title because it's one of my favorite movies. John Henry, yeah, I was going to ask you about giving his take on The Hobbit, but I'd also just want Del Toro to do what he's excited to make to experience new stories. Yeah, it's such a bummer. Like, he still has trauma over losing The Hobbit. Like, if you hear him talk about it in interviews, like he couldn't even watch the films because it hurt his feelings so hard that he lost that project. He was so excited about it, and I would have loved to see his take. I do like that first. I know I'm alone, but I do love that. I do like that first Peter Jackson film. I think the second two are terrible, but I really like the first one. I wish we could have just got. I feel like in the first one, all the extra stuff they added was interesting, you know, with the background. But then the stuff they added in the second and third one, I did not care for those two films. There's moments in that second and third one, like, but the first one's got all the great stuff. It's got I think Smaug's in the second one. That's a great scene. But Gollum scene in the first one and the troll scene, all the big hits. I like the first one. It's a fun adventure movie. But yeah, I was bummed out with the second and third. I know it's not Peter Jackson's fault. I mean, he was forced to stretch those out into a trilogy because that's what the studio wanted him to. But it's just a shame, man. I would have loved to see his actual version that he wanted to make, and then I would have loved to see Guillermo del Toro's version. Although it would have looked very different, and it would have been weird to kind of sync that up with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It would have been interesting for those to be such different styles. Maybe people wouldn't think of them as one big saga, which is what the studio wanted, and that's why they got Peter Jackson to do it exactly the same way, and didn't give him nearly as much time. But yeah, it would have been interesting to see Guillermo del Toro's version, for sure. Senior Sticks just popped in. Hey, Senior Sticks. We're gonna hang out here for about 5 more minutes, so get your questions in if you have them. John Henry says, yep, more live streams. These are awesome. I'm excited for a spooky, not scary Halloween one this year if you're game. Interesting. I could do Are you talking about like a commentary? Like a watch along? Maybe we could do a watch along. That would be fun. Or are you just talking about like a Halloween dedicated live chat? Maybe so. Either one. I like to do this more often. It's a lot of fun. Kevin House, please put Life with Father on your list so Criterion will release it. Yeah, well, the surefire way to get Criterion to release something is for DJ to buy a very expensive release of it, out of print release of it on eBay, because that's what happens to me. I bought that 4 seasons World Cinema Library, only 500 made, exquisite box set, and then immediately after I paid, I don't even want to tell you guys how much I paid for that because it's embarrassing. As soon as I bought it, Criterion announces that those are coming to the Criterion channel. So, but I still love the set, and Tale of Summer is one of my favorite movies ever now. So I'm really glad I bought that. Still not a physical release by Criterion on that yet anyway, but maybe there will be. But I'm still happy with that set. But yeah, apparently all I got to do is buy a really expensive set and then Criterion releases it. So Life with Father. So that's one that you want, Kevin. Is there no Blu-ray release of that? Is there even a DVD release of it? Some things don't even have DVD releases, which is a shame. Because I don't even have a way to play VHS tapes these days. I don't even have a VCR. Life with Father. I'll have to check that one out. Senior Sticks. What's your favorite Kick-Ass movie? Now, are you just using that term to describe like a cool action-packed movie? Or are you specifically talking about the two Kick-Ass adaptations? Because, I mean, neither of them are like my favorite movies, but I think the first one is way better than the second one, obviously. Although I kind of like this Henry Jackman score from that second one. I think it's a fun superhero score. I used to listen to that one, but yeah, I don't love the second film. I don't love the first film, but I think it's much better than the second film for sure. Although I think I heard that Kick-Ass 2 was like one of Tarantino's favorite films that year. He really enjoyed that film. Is there a cult following for that film? I didn't know that. If there is, but I was let down by the second one. Kevin House, La Strada is great. I first saw it for free at Denison University in Granville, Ohio back in the 90s. Wow. Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I think she gives a phenomenal performance in that. And heartbreaking film. Very sad, but very, very beautiful. Kevin House, La Strada. Wow. Stephen Murphy. Coda got a 4K release from Italy, it seems. I think has an English language option in there. That is cool. I didn't know that. So it didn't get an American release. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, sometimes those streaming exclusives only get overseas releases for some reason, which is fine because I have a player that I can play that's kind of region free that I can play overseas versions on. So I might have to check that out because I really enjoyed Coda. I don't know, it wasn't my favorite film from 2 years ago, but I really enjoyed it, and I would love to have a release of it because I don't pay for Apple TV Plus currently. I actually don't pay for any streaming services right now. I think the only one I have Criterion Channel, and my wife has Hulu because she likes to watch TV. But yeah, I canceled Disney Plus. I canceled HBO Max. I canceled all those. I don't even use them anymore because I've got so much back here to watch. So yeah, what's your guys' thoughts on streaming services? Do you still use them? I was very thankful for HBO Max and Hulu Plus TCM, but because it got me into this. But yeah, I don't need it anymore because I've got so much stuff here that I still haven't seen. So it's kind of just throwing money away each month. John Henry, did you get a chance to watch the 1977 animated Hobbit? Yes, I have watched that. It is right over here. Doesn't have a Blu-ray, only on DVD, which is a crying shame because it's a beautiful. This is Rankin and Bass. I think this one is Rankin and Bass. Beautiful animated film. Probably still the definitive version on screen. Although, like I said, I like the first live action film. But yeah, I watched this with my kid. Speaking of HBO Max, this was a launch title for them, and I watched this, showed it to my son, and it's a great movie. I like it quite a bit. I wish it would get a nice Blu-ray restoration. As I break my computer. Yeah, I would love to see a 1080p restoration of this film, or even 4K, but I doubt that would ever happen. Maybe a boutique label would put this out. I also picked up The Return of the King. Found these earlier this year, maybe last year, from Second and Charles for super cheap. They're the old snapback DVDs. I wish, yeah, like I said, I wish we would get a set. I think that was on my list, or maybe it was a runner-up on that video where I wish that we would get a set of these. I haven't seen Return of the King yet. It's the other Rankin and Bass one. And then there's the Lord of the Rings adaptation that's from a different studio, different animation house that I also haven't seen. So I need to get to those. It's tough though when you've got the definitive live action versions. But yeah, I'm very interested. I love animation and I love sword and sorcery. So I'm excited to check that one out too. That's Return of the King. And the reason I don't have the Lord of the Rings is because there is a Blu-ray of the Lord of the Rings animated film. And it has a very, very hard to find. One of my biggest regrets is there's a very rare out of print slipcover for that Lord of the Rings animated Blu-ray. And I had it. I found it on eBay for $50, which I know sounds like a lot. But with slipcover, that thing, you cannot find it for under like $130, which is crazy. I'm not going to pay $130 for a Lord of the Rings animated film that I don't think is even that good. but I can't believe I had it for $50 right there in my wish list, and I waited and didn't pull the trigger, and now I haven't seen it since. Like I said, under $130. So really wish I had snagged that, because it's a beautiful slipcover. It's got Gandalf on the front. It's all holographic, and so I'm holding out hope that someday I find that for a good deal, but I don't know. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I didn't even read the whole thing. He said, I wanted to know what you thought of the music, being that you enjoy musicals. Goblin Town was cool. Yes, I love that about it. And that's actually one thing that I like about the live action first Hobbit film, is that it is more of a Tolkien-y kind of tone. There's the dwarves are singing more. That's one of the things, I love the live action Lord of the Rings films, but Peter Jackson's sensibilities are not exactly my sensibilities. And I wish there was a little bit more of that Tolkien light, kind of fun Hobbitness. There's some of that stuff with Merry and Pippin, but yeah, obviously all the songs are cut out. Sam's song is cut out in the forest with the elves, where he sings that song in front of the mirror. Great scene in the book. I wish that was in the movie, but yeah, I liked that tone was that he dipped a little bit more into that tone with the first Hobbit film. I like that there's songs in the extended cut, especially there's the Goblin Town song that's longer in that edit, and but yeah, it's a little easier to get away with that stuff when you're doing animation. So yeah, the songs in this are great. I agree with you on that. Kevin House says there's never been an official DVD or Blu-ray release of Life with Father. Wow, that is a bummer. Hey, don't hold out. Don't lose hope, because there was never an official release of. You know what else never had an official release on DVD or Blu-ray is The Wonderful World of the Brothers Grimm, and it's got one now, which I'm very excited about. I did an unboxing of this when it first came out, but I was so excited when this got announced, because I had a crappy, like, homemade print on demand like DVD version of this film, because it never got an official release, and this version is just beautiful. So nice. Obviously no slipcover, but it has a booklet, has 2 discs with 2 different versions of the film. You've got the Smile Box version and then the Letterboxd version. Incredible release, and it's even got the original poster on the front, which I love. This is from Warner Archive Collection. So happy they put this out. So hopefully someday you get your release of Life with Father, because people never thought this was going to come out. They were talking about working on the restoration forever, like years. I was seeing people on Reddit talk about, the creators talking about how they were working on an edit of this film, and I never thought it was going to come out, and then it finally did. I'm so excited about that. Definitely a film I want my kids to grow up with. Wonderful World of Brothers Grimm. Really, really cool fairy tale, especially the three fairy tale reenactments that are in this. Is mostly a biopic about Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm, but the reenactments with the dragon, they got the dragon right there in the back. Great movie. So happy that got a release. Not trying to rub it in your face, Kevin. I hope you get your release too. Wow, we have passed 2 hours. My voice is completely failing me, so I'm going to wrap this up. Let me see here. Rocky. John Henry's talking about the Three Ninjas. Yes, great movies. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for joining me, especially all the guys who are asking questions. Hope you enjoyed this little sit down. If you missed it, we packaged these up in these special cases. We got Time Bandits, The Third Man, Last Ship Bring It Bad, Man Who Fell to Earth, and Nashville. I'll let you know what I think about these cases after I use them for a little bit. I think I'm gonna like them now. They're looking great. And then we also got the Red River, which looks great. So thank you guys for indulging me while I open those and package those while talking to you guys. Really enjoyed talking to you guys. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much for the kind words. I'm getting some more right now. You guys are the best. John Henry says, thanks. Kyle's movie collection. Hey, I didn't know you were here. You must have been listening the whole time. Or, whenever you popped in. But thanks for popping in and leaving a little chat. He says, love the videos. Thank you. That makes me happy. I enjoy making these just for myself, but it it makes me so happy that you guys enjoy them and hopefully get something out of them. John Henry says this rocked. David Chase says, thanks, DJ. Lots of fun to listen. Kevin House, thanks, DJ. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. You guys are the best. I got the best subscribers. The fact that you guys actually leave comments and engage and we talk about movies instead of just, you know, watching silently is why I do this, because I want to talk to more people about film, because no one likes film, or I don't know anyone that likes film near me in person. So I love talking to you guys about it. Kyle says he just popped in. John Henry says, Films by Color is my favorite movie channel. So honored to be on the stream. Well, you certainly need to check out more channels, because there's much better channels about movies on YouTube. Check out Daisuke, man. That guy's incredible. Or Ethan. Ethan. Not Ethan. What am I saying? Ethan. Elliot Cohen. Boutique Blu-ray. Sorry, Elliot. Screwed up your name. But yeah, incredible film channels. But I'm trying. You know, I'm mostly just along for the ride and learning as I go, because it's all new to me. You know, I'm just getting my feet wet. There's a lot more stuff I need to check out. But thanks everybody who popped in, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Hopefully we can do another one of these live streams in the near future. Hopefully it won't be too long. I think I've already got an idea for another one that I want to do. Big surprise coming up soon. I've come across a lot of I don't want to get into it, but I stumbled upon. I added like over 100 films to my collection last week. I'll get into the circumstances later, but there's a ton of stuff over on that Criterion shelf that just got added, and I've got to do a separate video for it because it's a crazy story, a sad story. But I came across another collection that I inherited, and I'll do a whole video about that. And I'm thinking about maybe doing another live stream associated to that. So anyway, won't get into it too far, but yeah, love talking to you guys. Thanks everyone who popped in. Thank you for anybody who leaves a comment or a like, or does anyone share videos anymore? I don't know if anyone does that, but anyone who's subscribed, love you guys so much. Thank you for everything you do for the channel. You guys make this worth it. And I'll see you guys again real soon. Until next time, keep collecting, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. See you later, guys.